Hi, this is Pete Holiday.
This is country artist Olivia Rose.
This is Cupid's Heart.
Hey, this is Shobsy.
My name's Matt Blaze.
And you are listening to Two Irish
Don't Make a Right
on CJSR 88.5 FM.
in Edmonton and around the world on CJSR.com.
Don't touch that dot.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Solstice to everyone at the Rooster this evening from myself, Liz Pomeroy, and of course, my esteemed co-host, Alan Donnelly. Obviously, I'm not in town tonight, but I have to just say I'm so excited to be coming back to Edmonton in the new year. When Alan and I started Two Irish Don't Make a Right, our intention was to showcase the amazing talent around Edmonton and all that it has to offer. Having cycled all across Canada and through Europe this year, I am even more excited to come back home to Edmonton to continue to be part of this amazing music community that we have. So whether you're here tonight because you just love coming to the Rooster as a restaurant, whether you're a live music connoisseur, you are a musician, or you're all of those things, as well as hosting open mics or programming for our amazing Edmonton Folk Music Festival. I just want to say thank you very much to every one of our guests joining us tonight for this very special night to talk about all the incredible things coming up next year for 2024 and where we're going as a music community. And I just want to say a massive direct thank you to Ria March, because without Ria, I wouldn't have the career I do in Edmonton. She gave me some of my first leg ups in the city, and also without her I'd never have met Alan, and we wouldn't be sitting here right now this evening talking about all of this. So Ria, thank you very, very much for everything that you do for this beautiful city, that you've done for me, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. And now, without further ado, I will hand you over to your host for the evening in the flesh, my co-host of Two Irish Don't Make a Right, the great Mr. Alan Donnelly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, if you're listening to this on the radio, good afternoon. This is Two Irish Don't Make a Right, and we're coming to you live from the Rooster Bar and Kitchen. In over the 40 shows of Two Irish Don't Make a Right that we've done here on CJSR, this is the very first time we're doing it live. We've gathered together a special group of people who are leading the charge in showcasing some of the amazing talent here in Edmonton. We wanted to show a little bit of how the small stage can lead to the big stage, which leads me to our special guests. We have none other than the producer of the Edmonton Folk Festival, Terry Wickham, is in the house tonight. The host of It Takes a Village and the Sunday Song Stage, Ria March, is with us. Songwriter and co-founder of the musical group The Fates, Laurie Reid, joins us. The owner of Rooster Bar and Kitchen, Raheem Jaffer, is along for the ride. The Northern Lights Folk Club founders, Betty Jo and Bill Worthman, joins us too. And singer-songwriter Marty Sultanen. We've also got some great performances to look forward to from Stella Johnson, Jay Scope and Barry Westerland. Big thank you to our sponsors for helping us out this evening. MLZ Creative, Natural Talent Alliance, Rooster Bar and Kitchen of course, and to Acoustic Music Shop for the lend of this beautiful Eastman guitar that our performers will be using tonight. So right folks, are you ready? Let's do it. I will start with your good self, Raheem. Have we got mics here? Have we got tunage?
Here we go.
Oh, okay. Well, Raheem, it's no better place to start. You're the owner of the Rooster Bar and Kitchen. It's been in existence for nigh on maybe, 30 years?
Well, in different forms. Different forms, yeah. It was called Artisan Resto Cafe. My parents ran it for almost 18 years, and then they did mostly breakfast brunch. And so they wanted to retire, and I had a lapse of mental illness and got in the restaurant business.
I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. When in doubt, restaurant it out. Okay. But it's not just about fine food and culinary skills. You merge that significantly well with culture, art,
And that's going back, that's your parents that did that.
So my parents, yeah, they always featured artists in the restaurant, as you see. We stepped it up a little bit since we changed it to Rooster, but they had artists build. If you ever came to Artisan, they had a really great tree that was made out of plaster, and it was huge. It sat in the middle of this room, and then they had an artist paint the whole inside with different, really interesting. So it was a really nice feel. Of course, we wanted to change it when we moved to Rooster, and we always tinkered with having live music, but during COVID, as we all know, if you're a supporter of live music in venues, a lot of them took a hit over the course of the last little while, especially on White Avenue. So despite the challenges, we found that people weren't coming out as much to the restaurant. We thought, why don't we take advantage, maybe? We had the space. Let's move into doing some live music, open mic. We built this stage, and we found that it's become a place where people feel safe, a community can gather, it's inclusive, and we really encourage all kinds of art, which is really a nice thing. We get the music, we get the local artists, we get poetry, we get comedy, and it's been a really nice evolution, and I hope it continues to grow.
I'll come to you, Laurie. Laurie Reid is a former Canmore base. We're lucky to have her here in Edmonton. Yes, we're back. Welcome home.
Thank you.
And you're sort of an artist in residence here. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, a working artist in residence. I'm very interested in the economics of art and how do we keep self-sustaining, because I want to be an independent artist. Not want to be, I am an independent artist. It's not in my nature to go after funding. It's in my nature to do it on my own and to create my own lifestyle, and I think that the arts on Edmonton has really fostered that. It has fostered and grandfathered some amazing independent arts over the last many decades. So I wanted to tap into that and learn a little bit more about that side, how to be self-sustaining as an artist, because it is super tough. And you can't rely on funding, because there's like 400 other people applying for that same grant.
Well, that's it. It's an entrepreneurial mindset sometimes.
Exactly.
You need to foster. And
I don't think it has to be contrived or gooey. You're not selling out. It's about having this homegrown sort of roots spirit of being a master craftsman, doing what you do and passing it on. And music is very different because it's not tangible. It's in the air, unless you've got a CD. But songs are very tangible.
Well, with that said, a lady who has been said has warmed the cockles of my heart. With over 30 years in the industry, both in presenting, performing, teaching, and of course, being a mentor for many musicians here in Edmonton.
For one, I'd have to say I'm really happy that there's an L's on the cockles.
I like what you did there. Okay. Because you've seen, with over your 30 years of experience, you've seen the rise, the fall, the in-betweens. Mm-hmm. What would be your advice for musicians nowadays? What would you say? What would be kind of the linchpin?
Connect with your community. Connect with your community. Connect with your community. Get out to the open stages. I've been running the Sunday Song Stage in Edmonton for 16 years, less COVID. And
yes.
Yeah, well, thanks. But it's been one of the greatest experiences of my life, because I've gotten to know so many performers that had come through the stage on a weekly basis. We become friends. And then in 2011, I guess it was, I had the great pleasure of partnering up with the Edmonton Folk Festival with Terry Wickham. And we worked together to then, these artists that I'm meeting through my open stages, and from the community, we get to curate a list of those to perform at the Edmonton Folk Festival each year, and that helps to launch their careers. And I do a whole lot of work with them in between about helping them understand the importance of that. And live performance is my thing. That's my thing. Audience engagement. If you can be the best, you don't ever have to be the best musician, the best vocalist, but you do have to be able to hold the attention of an audience for 3 minutes and 30 seconds or however long that is. And that is an art. That's a craft.
Agreed.
So I love teaching that. That's my jam. And it's paid off, yeah. In that we have so many incredible artists that are coming out of this city. It takes a village.
It really, truly does. Why I was drawn to doing this concept. This is the first time trying this out, so I apologize if it's a bit glitchy at times. But the heart of it is this. There are some fantastic things happening, and you guys here are the spearheads to it, right? We go for the Sunday Song Stage, the Toast and Jam, the owner that's allowing this to go down, and me to shout at these people for tonight. I apologize again. But the Thursday Open Stage. How important is this, not just here in Rooster, what you're doing, but this in general? How do we keep this going?
Events like this, you are a wonder of the world, Alan Donnelly. So bringing us all together to be able to understand how important it is to support local venues and support your fellow artists. And it's not just about being an artist, it's about being a fan. We're nothing without people that don't love to appreciate the sound of live music. So it's a collaboration, it's a connection, and it's what makes this city, I think, so vibrant is that there isn't competition that I see. I see encouragement between artists, and that's what we encourage here at Rooster with everything that we do.
Laurie, talk to me about the Toast and Jam.
Well, first of all, I have to say that I stole the idea from Bill Worthman. You know, something that Rhea alluded to earlier, it's your community, right? And being authentic in your community. I think as artists, we can't be like who we want to be. We have to be true to ourselves. And sometimes that's not easy. And sometimes that's kind of painful and uncomfortable. But I think that that's how our true artistic self comes through. And then you see the support. And so when you have little spaces like this where people are all doing that and supporting each other, something really magical happens. And there's so much healing in music that we don't really talk about. But on a street level, that's so important for a place like Rooster, where you can have that aspect of it's important to people's souls.
Deserves that. Rhea, I'd love to come to you. You have nurtured an awful lot of young talent that have crossed this stage and many others. And we'll get into that now in a little bit, how the small stage links to the big stage. What for those listening that are eager, what's your words of encouragement?
Believe in yourself. Even try to quiet that mind, that the amygdala part of our brain, which sends out all those negative signals and says you're not good enough, you can't, or somebody else is always going to be. That just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is, what I've found is that when you're an artist, you're born an artist. And I believe that, and studies show the artist brain is a little bit different in how it fires. So if you're someone who is drawn to music and you're drawn to creating it, and whether you're creating it at a level of, your satisfaction at this moment or not, you're an artist. So please start to call yourself an artist. It's okay to call yourself an artist. You are. And you're still going to be 30 years from now. It's within you. It's something within you. So from that, seek out mentors. Get out and see other performers. Listen to music. Go to events like the New Moon Folk Club, the Northern Lights Folk Club, the Edmonton Folk Music Festival, and listen to the performers there. Watch what they're doing, and then find yourself a good teacher if you need it. Find yourself a songwriting coach, and just keep practicing your craft. You're an artist. You will always be an artist. And speaking of artists, Laurie Reed, by the way, is not just incredibly smart, and she's someone who's got a solo career happening. She's also one of the members of the Fates, of the band called the Fates, which was together for how long?
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years and really made a mark. She knows what she's talking about. She's a great mentor as well.
There is a guitar behind you. Would you like to hear a song from Laurie?
Heck yes.
Okay, well, we got the beautiful vocals of Laurie and Rhea. Rhea, don't leave.
Well, Rhea, you have to stay up here. I'll have
you
to
can
plug
stay
in.
there if you want to play along. And Raheem's going to do backing vocals. The baritone.
Yeah, I was always told I had a face for radio, so this is perfect.
Well, you found your calling, my friend. You found your calling. Yeah, I tell you, you can rattle the snowballs. There we go. And what are we gonna hear from you, Laurie, right now?
Speaking about being artistic and taking risks, right? This might be a little hot. So this is a song that's sort of kind of finished, and Rhea, I'll need your help Around this time, each December, Spirit catches up with me, sharing goodwill with my brother, find myself singing songs of joy and peace. Around this time, each December, the Spirit catches up with me. I'm sharing goodwill with all my brothers. Find myself singing songs of joy and peace. Find myself singing songs of joy and peace. Sunny days and restless nights, desperate times with rainbow lights. I wait for snow to decorate the evergreen. Sparkles bring sweet memories. Around this time each December, the Spirit catches up with me. Ooh, and I'm sharing goodwill with all my brothers. I find myself singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I find myself singing songs of joy and peace. Let the choir sing. Oh, drum keep time. Let the bells ring. Turn to snow. Oh, let the voices ring. Drum beat, heart keep time. Oh, let peace reign. Turn to snow and fall down gently on us all. Around this time each December.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
Roy
a jam.
Reid, Rhea March, and Raheem Jaffer was just playing the snowballs. That was beautiful. We're nearly ready for our performer, and I have to say, this lady I seen at the New Moon Folk Club. Yeah, he was there. I should hope so. He is the artistic director. And this lady blew me away. She opened up for Irish Maiden. She had a 20-minute opening set. She was phenomenal. She commanded the stage. It was just her, the guitar, and the New Moon Folk Club. I will turn to my maestro over here. Twitty, are we ready? Stella, are you ready?
I think so.
Are you all ready? Well, without further ado, I'll get off stage. Give it up for Stella Johnson. One more time, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. I think this is working for me. This is really cool. I'm really, really grateful to be here. This is a Towns Van Zandt song. Well, I'm going out to Denver, see if I can find. Yeah, I'm going out to Denver, I can't find that love in Colorado, girl of mine. Well, the promise in her smile shames the mountains tall. Yeah, the promise in her smile shames the mountains tall. She can bring the sun to shine in and tell the rain to fall. It's been a long time, mama, since I heard you call my name. It's been a long time, mama, since I heard you call my name. I got to kiss these lonesome Texas blues away. Well, I'm going out to Denver, see if I can find. Yeah, I'm going out to Denver, see if I can find that love in Colorado, girl of mine. That love in Colorado, girl of mine. Thank you.
Another panel for you. We got Betty Jo and Bill Werthman. Are you guys there? And Marnie Sultanen. And we have the co-founders of the Edmonton Northern Lights Folk Club, along with not the third wheel. We won't call you the third wheel. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Marty Sultanen. Who, there we go. Tell me a bit how the Northern Lights came to be.
The Northern Lights, well, do you understand science? Because they're...
I know, I dropped
officially
the
they're
folk
called
club.
Aurora Borealis.
Yes.
Oh, no,
And I love the smart alecness. That's true. Don't keep it there, though. Don't lose it. But the Northern Lights Folk Club.
The Northern Lights Folk Club. I used to travel for a living, and I spent a lot of time in Calgary. Spent a lot of time in bars, even though I don't drink. I went to music because that's all I had to do at night. Didn't want to work and didn't drink, so I went and listened to music and was playing a lot of music. Got to know a lot of the Calgary musicians. Found out there was a really active folk club scene in Calgary. There was about 6 or 8 folk clubs down there at the time, and in Edmonton at the time there was one. And we were volunteers. Betty Jo and I were volunteers there. That was the Full Moon Folk Club.
Yes, I beg your pardon.
Now the Full Moon has since shut down, and the New Moon people have taken over and done a fantastic job. Yeah.
Hey, that's what I was talking about. There's no venom here. It's all love.
We get along famously, and we collaborate. We fix prices and the whole bit. And make sure. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. No. We work together really well. If we're working on an artist or they're working on an artist, that we want to bring in, we share information.
Use collab.
Yeah, exactly. So it just seemed like a good idea. We had some friends in Calgary that were musicians. They wanted to come up and play. Couldn't get a gig in Edmonton. We put on a house concert. Didn't know anything about house concerts, and then we ended up doing a couple of other little things and. before you know it, here we are 25 years later, and we're still going.
What's very special is it's a dynamic duo. Betty Jo, can I ask you a question? How do you not wring each other's neck? You work well together.
What makes you think we don't?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, it's all coming out now in the wash. Okay. But still, you obviously have a passion for music, the both of you. And how do you put up with his visions? Or is it you that leads the pack on this?
So Bill is the idea guy, and I guess a lot of it had to do with the fact that that's what I did for a living. Is I was an admin assistant to administrators at the University of Alberta who had visions and looked to me and expected me to make them happen. And that's how we collaborate. It's what I did naturally. Yeah. And he has visions, and I devil's advocate with questions and troubleshoot and
so she does the work.
She does the work, and you just give the ideas. Is that what it is? I'd like to do this next. Yeah. Can we talk about Marty over there? Marty, he's wearing a nice festive colour red. The songwriter. Well, talk to me about how you guys came to be.
We kind of met through the musical community, through friends that we made along the way, most notably a good friend of ours, Ron Taylor. And, yep. Ron Taylor hosted many open mics. We co-hosted an open mic on Jasper, Second Cup, for a number of years. And through that, Bill and I got to know each other, and Betty Jo and my wife Lil and I, and Barry and quite a few other people that are here. Carol in the back there. It is a real vibrant community, and once you sort of know one, you start to get to know the other. And through Ron, he was very active in songwriting in the early 2000s, and we just started to click. And things just took off from there. So we played Northern Lights Folk Club, played the Full Moon and Arms and a few other ones that are no longer with us. So it's a community. It really is a community. And
I'm going to turn to you, Bill. When you were performing here live, and I heard you talking about the Northern Lights Folk Club, and some of the people that you brought in, not only on the stage, they've actually slept in your house.
Yeah, we've got a wall in our basement that is quite famous. There's some pretty incredible signatures on there.
But don't tease me. You got to tell me who these are.
Well,
John Mann.
Oh, she got in there. I love it.
Yeah.
David Francie.
David Francie, Martin Joseph.
Lynn Miles.
Wow.
Yeah, Doogie McLean. Was Doogie there? Yeah. No, Doogie didn't come to our house. Yeah, a bunch of folks anyway. Yeah. It's a full wall. It's 12 feet long.
It's not just artists, it's anybody that comes to the house.
Yeah, everybody can sign the wall.
So we're going to bring the pen.
We have a rule. If you come to our house, you sign the wall, and if you don't,
it's just covered.
It's covered. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we actually renovated our basement around the wall.
Round of applause for that. That's pretty. Northern Lights Folk Club. What's your 5-year dream? What's your plan for the future?
Now's the time.
Retire.
Now's the time.
So,
well, I didn't want to say no. Go away, Yoda. No way.
No, you know what? We thought about stopping many times. There's lots of times where we're dealing with frustrations at certain times of the year. We lost our liquor permit twice. You know, just stupid little that happens. You know.
Oh, I love it. SHITE.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
We're allowed to say that on the radio.
No, I have to. You're giving me more work, ladies and gentlemen. But no, for you, we'll keep it in.
Okay. So we had to deal with some stuff, and we've thought about it, but we love it too much. But we have found ways over the last few years to dole out some of the jobs that we've been doing. We used to do it all. We made tickets and printed them on our computer and separated them and took them to the ticket outlets and made posters and posted up and down White Avenue. Now we
that caused the biggest fights.
Oh,
the
posters,
postering. The postering.
Now the dirt.
No Jerry Springer stuff tonight, ladies and gentlemen. None of that. No.
I used to like to pull up into the no parking zones, and Betty Jo said, "No, we can't do that."
He'd say, "Go up onto the curb." No, I can't do that.
Rebel without a cause over here. Yeah. I can see the smile in your face. I mean, it's obviously It's like I was talking to you, Marty, but then I asked you. It wasn't a loaded question, but I asked, why do you do it? Why do you come out here every night? Why do you come out here and play your music? What is it about it? And it's clear in your faces. It's the passion. It's more of a vocation. Would I be wrong?
Yeah, we love it. It's
community.
Community.
It's community.
It's something you just have to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody in the audience said this before. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can see by you guys, you feel that with the Northern Lights Folk Club.
Yep.
And
Yeah, for sure.
And the Toast and Jam, because I think, where is she? Laurie? Yeah, she holds no... She stole the idea, is that right?
Well,
Franchised
license
it.
Oh, franchise.
Yeah, franchise it. When I retired from my day gig, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to do another open mic. There's lots of open mics, and they're great, but we just didn't want to do another one. So we did an invite-only thing where a bunch of us gather around a table in a coffee shop. Not this place. We do it over on the north side, and we've been doing it for 4 years, every Thursday morning. We did it through COVID. We ended up moving it to my backyard when it worked, or sometimes it didn't work because of, you have restrictions and so on. But we kept it going for 4 years as best we could, and now we're hopefully on the backside of, at least we can see the light, and we're still doing it. Still going strong every Thursday morning. We love doing it. And Laurie moved to Edmonton, and we got to reacquaint ourselves with each other. And she said, I think. Was franchise the word that you used, Laurie? Yeah.
Steal or franchise?
Yeah.
Okay, blatant robbed us, ladies and
Although
gentlemen.
I haven't seen a check. So I don't know.
It's in the post. It's in the post.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Marty, a great prolific songwriter. I played some of your stuff. It's a right hoot and gets everybody up going. Any plans for future releases?
Oh yeah, still working on songs I wrote 20 years ago. 5 years ago, and the recording and releasing process is a bit daunting.
In what sense? Is it because of the digital age, or?
Well, actually, doing the recording is not super difficult. You can hire people to do that, or you can get it on your desktop at home. Most of your computers come with it, but it's getting through to the end, and then what do you do with it? You can record in your bedroom, that's fine, and mix it up and fine and use all the plugins. It may sound good to you, and it may be sounding good to other people too, but how do you get it out there? That's the daunting thing to me, is distribution, rights management, connections for, publishing. Publishers.
Publishing deals.
Oh my God, publishing, yeah.
Well, there's a lady over there, Rhea March, might be able to help you in the right direction over there. But with that said, though, you're right. We live in a very daunting age. Music is a different beast as it was maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But can I ask a question? For the Northern Lights Folk Club, how do how do you bring them in?
Well, I have to admit, a lot of it is personal preference. We very seldom book somebody that we don't like. I mean, we all have personal tastes in music, right?
If you suck,
but sometimes you have to. Sometimes, we had an instance not that long ago where we booked somebody that neither Betty Jo and I thought we weren't going to connect with.
Who was it?
I'm not going to tell you. But the demand was there to book them. And
interesting. Right.
They were persistent, and the audience was asking for them. So he said, "Yeah, okay." So we booked them, and loved it.
And it turned out to be a success.
Well, it turned out to be a success. We sold out the place, and Betty Jo and I loved the show. We both loved the show. So I'm 66 years old. I'm still learning, and I'm still learning to appreciate new talent.
Yeah.
Different talent, different kind, different genres. One of the things that's happened since being involved with the Carrot Cafe, I've gotten to listen to a bunch of spoken word stuff. I love it. I never thought that I would ever be a person that liked spoken word stuff.
Well, to your point, and I've got no offense to any of the folk people here, but I didn't think I'd be into folk music till I came to Edmonton.
True.
You know, we get asked a lot at the Northern Lights Folk Club. How are you going to involve younger people? How are you going to get younger people to come and put the bums in your seats? And you know, are you going to start?
Looking at Stella Johnson over there.
Yeah, you know, we can start hiring younger artists and all that kind of stuff. And we do take all of those things into consideration.
Sure.
When we're booking our season, but mostly we book good music. And if we book good music, yeah, exactly. People will come, and maybe somebody comes for the first time to hear a younger artist, and then they think, oh, this is cool. I can actually sit here, and I don't have to worry about the din of the crowd and the noise because it's dead silent. You can hear a pin drop in this place. Everything, all you hear is the music. Some people like that. Go figure. And, and they come back.
Looking back over, what 30 years?
25.
25. Well, we're close to 30. I wasn't far
Yeah,
off. Don't hang me. I know I got the Northern Lights wrong.
No, you didn't. You
I just didn't finish the sentence.
pretend I'm your English teacher.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Irish, you know that. Thing. Oh, yes. But guys, I would like to ask you this question. Looking back, what were some of the highlights?
Being the first ones in Western Canada to present David Francie.
Yeah, that was a big one.
How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, bad.
John Mann's first solo performance on our stage. Yeah, Martin Joseph's first time at it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a. Yeah, Jean Boutet. That was another one. I mean, just there's a pile of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I could talk to you all day. One thing I would like to bring and remind, well, I suppose, anyone listening in Ireland, the volunteer mentality is second to none here in Edmonton. What is it? What do you attribute that to? Why is it like that?
I think Marty said it earlier. Community. People want to be part of that community. It's when you build something, it becomes infectious, and sometimes it's the best way to get involved in something. It's the best way to be part of that disease.
But would you agree with that, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And I think Edmonton is known for its volunteerism, and it's not just in the folk community and the festival and everything.
it's
I mean, you go back
theater,
to Commonwealth Games and like just it's anything. Like just they bring something to Edmonton and people just flock to it to volunteer. And it's community. Maybe it's northern. I don't know.
It's cold and it's dark, and need something to do.
It's cold, all right.
Where would you rather be on a cold Saturday night? At the hockey game? Well, it's cold at the hockey game. Go to the folk club.
Yeah.
On that bombshell, we are going to hand it over to these two maestros. Oh, listen to that, folks. Dave Fisher over there. Do you approve? He approves.
This is Edmonton history. And as far as songwriting goes, you get your inspirations in various places. It's relationships, it's, the beauty of the mountains. This came out of a historical article that I read, and the song is pretty much, you read the story and you go, yeah, there's something there, and you twist it around a little bit, so it's almost true. All about John Rowan, the chief factor of Fort Edmonton. John Rowan was chief factor, he worked for Hudson Bay. He ran the fort at Edmonton forever and a day. A hard and honest businessman, a legend he'd become. Until one day he up and died and his trading days were done. He wanted to lie in Montreal, 2,000 miles away. But the only way to get him there was row to Hudson's Bay. So they boiled his bones and pickled him with lots of rum inside. A barrel for a casket, and they took him for a ride. So heave on the oarsmen to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Heave on the oarsmen to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Hey! Well, at night the fire burned like hell, but we shivered in the cold. I swear it felt like Rowan's fist beating on our soul. We had to drink from Rowan's rum to stay alive and brave, but we corked the barrel tightly so the dead would not escape. So heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Hey! By the time we saw York Factory coming round the bend, the rum was almost empty, our wits were at the end. The barrel made an awful noise, it rattled and it moaned. We finally put him on a ship and freed us of his bones. So heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Hey! John Rowan lies in Montreal, his final resting place. But every time I take a drink, I see his bony face. He's dancing on a barrel and he sings a wicked song, laughing at each one of us as we sing along. So heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Heave on the oars, men, to ride the river flow, all the way to Hudson Bay to send John Rowan home. Send John Rowan home, men, send John Rowan home. Send John Rowan home, men, send John Rowan home. Send John Rowan home, men, send John Rowan home. Send John Rowan home, men, send John Rowan home.
Round of applause! Fill the bus for rum! Not on my tab. Round of applause for Marty, Bill, and Betty Joe. This man behind me comes from the Ukraine. He's performed with President Zelensky. He's performed in Churchill Square. He's a fantastic entertainer. And he's here tonight. Please give your upstanding attention and round of applause for Jay Sco.
It's a blessing to be here. And for all the sponsors, everybody putting this event together, thank you so much. You know, music is spiritual. It's so great to be among the community. I've been here for like 11 months, and I can say this is one of the best moments of my life. You know, so far after like putting everything apart that I've lost over there back in Ukraine, and I started a new page, a new life for myself, and I've been really blown away with the community, with the help. You guys are just freaking amazing. Thank you so much. All right, that's the song that got me qualified for the Eurovision quarterfinal back in Ukraine, 2022. And it's all about if you love somebody, keep them warm, keep them cool. Love is priceless. Never let them go. Thank you. This is time to move on. You hurt my feelings so much. You waste my time and ruin all. The sky is getting over. Lying up at work just to fornicate. Now on your knees, tell me it's too late. Don't owe you nothing, let me go my way. Ain't got no time to retaliate. Now I'm all alone, now I'm all alone. No one picked the phone, no one picked the phone. Yet I miss my home, yet I miss my home. Na 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 na. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. If you got a lover, please don't let them go. Where you see each other when you're feeling low. Try to compromise and enjoy the road. Together you're stronger than the stretch code. Never break the law, never break the rules. Have it in your mind, nobody is fool. I don't wanna go, I don't wanna lose. Let's make it real to swallow the truth. Now I'm all alone, now I'm all alone. No one pick the phone, no one pick the phone. Yet I miss my home, yet I miss my home. Na 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 na, yeah. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate it? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you love me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Tell me if you want me, why do you hate? Tell me if you need me, why you give no space? Tell me if you want me, why we don't relate? Tell me where's the future, it's getting too late. Yeah. Thank you. You know, the first time, thank you so much, really appreciate it. The first time I performed here almost 11 months ago, I was blown away, you know, with the kind of energy that I received in Edmonton. You know, as I was told and as I noticed as well, there's a kind of, or a little community, and it's so super powerful. That's a weapon, and that's so great. I mean, that's so amazing to be here right here tonight. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
One more time for Jay Scope, ladies and gentlemen. One thing I want to say about this man, yeah? We were doing a live show.
Yeah, for real.
He gave me a song to play.
I gave him like a performance. I thought I sent him a vocal track, and I sent him a performance track. So I just noticed like, something is wrong. No vocal. What? Turn it up. Let's sing. And
You rocked it. Thank you so much.
Really
One more time for
appreciate
Jay Scope, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
Colin, don't forget Colin on the guitar. Just for our friends on acoustic music, how did that Eastman sound?
It was fun. It was great. Yeah.
It was good. You like it? Do you want to buy it? I'll get you a discount. I would like you to put your music-loving hands together for the one, the only Rhea March and Terry Wickham. Come on in there, sit down, make yourself at home. Round of applause one more time for these folks. And for everybody who's turned out tonight, I have to say thank you. Now, where do we begin? We've only got the Edmonton Folk Festival producer, ladies and gentlemen, sitting across us from the table. Who wants to ask him who's coming up next year?
I do.
Yeah. Ask, you shall not receive, says Terry.
I can't remember.
Don't start. Now, we'll go back. I remember asking you the question. Actually, before we get into all that, I need to say this. When I first landed here in Edmonton, I was listening to the radio in the car, and I recognised an accent. But it was muddled a little bit. It was kind of Canadianised, if you don't mind me saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. And it turned out to be Terry. I was doing a podcast. I reached out to the office. I asked, was there any chance of an interview? And about a day later, the office got back to me and says, yeah, he'll do it. And he was very giving of his time and introduced me to Rhea March. And without whom, I wouldn't have known...
Thanks.
I wouldn't have known Liz, or I wouldn't have known you guys, because I wouldn't be here tonight. So I just want to say thank you to the both of them while they're on stage. It means an awful lot. It lends itself to the mentality of giving back. No matter who you are, or what you do, or who you think you are, giving back is so, so important. This is why I do what I do here. That's why I volunteer for CJSR, because it's a big, big part of the community as much as you guys are. But less about me, more about you. Tell me what you think about me. Joke. I spoke to you for our first interview, and I asked you what was some of your crowning achievements. You mentioned that in 2006, a journalist contacted you and said John Prime said that the Edmonton Folk Festival was the best festival he's ever played. Is that still the crowning achievement, or has there been another one to replace it?
Brandy Carlisle said the same thing, so that was nice. It's the, it's the spirit in in Edmonton. It's the volunteerism, it's the community. You know, artists are very sensitive, I think, and they can feel when you see that, you know, people with disabilities have the best seats in the house. And, you know, one other nice thing that happened is Natalie Merchant was looking for me after the show. That's usually bad news. Something went wrong. I thought the show was great, but that was in 2006 as well. And but she came over, and I said, "Everything okay?" I go see them. Maybe they don't come and look for me, but she said, "I just want to let you know that that's the best sound I've ever had." Yeah. Well, more than All-Star, it was a guy called Colin Lay who since died of Lou Gehrig's disease. And we were able to say that at the memorial, and his brother kind of sought me out afterwards and said, "Is that true story?" I said, "Well, I wouldn't make that up." But he said he was a science major at university in England, and because he did the monitors, so the band is hearing the monitors, not the audience sound. He said, "I can go back and tell my family that we never really knew why he left science and went into sound." So that was a kind of a nice serendipity.
And I remember you telling that story. You really hit home. Can we touch upon the relationship that you and Rhea have cultivated over the time? How did that come about?
I was working with CKUA at the time, and I loved it, and I still love CKUA. Aren't they great? They are the parent of CJSR. I've been going to the folk festival for as long as I can remember, as have my kids since birth, and I noticed that there was a open stage happening, like an open mic happening on one of the stages there. And this is just when I was birthing the idea about young performers in Edmonton, because I was seeing so many of them, and I started working with them and that sort of thing. And I called up Terry one day and said, "Would you be open to the idea of maybe swapping out that open stage for a stage that showcases young emerging artists that are probably about to launch?" And he said, "Yeah, let's talk." And from there, it was history. The artists that come through me, which is now the School of Song, owe a great debt of gratitude, as do I, to Terry Wickham and his vision and his ability to be able to see what is going to work inside that festival, and this does. So it's been a blessed partnership, and one that I'm forever grateful for.
Wow.
You never know who the next star is going to be. I mean, we had Lorena McKenna and Alison Krauss and all sorts of people on the way up. So, you know, we just look for quality. And it's part of the folk tradition. In fact, I think, if anything, we've been very young in the last say, 10 years or so.
But what do you mean young?
I mean, young artists. We're taking a lot of chances on new artists. And that's great. That's great. There's a huge amount of talent out there. The hardest part of my job is saying no. And I have to do that 100 times for every yes, and I don't like it. It's really hard because I mean, okay, some come in and they're not very good, so that's easy. Right? So you know, the first thing I look for is it folk music, right? And we have a wide definition of that. But the selection process is hard. You know, I had to cut down the amount of time. It just means more come in. But I used to go till the end of December, but then I'd watch my email inbox fill up over Christmas, and I'm kind of a bit neurotic that way. I like to clean it as much as I can. So I'm finding now this year we're getting a lot of yeses. So I think at the top end of the music industry, the Taylor Swifts, the Bruce Springsteens, and they're all doing great. But even the mid level, you know, people who might be playing, say, a Winspear show or something like that, I'm finding they're available and they're saying yes. So. You know, I don't think we've come all the way back from COVID yet, and we're not getting as many people, say, from Europe traveling. I don't know about you, but everybody I talk to that's traveled, you know, they come back and they get sick.
Yep,
they get sick when they're traveling, right? So
it's a real thing.
Musicians have to be very careful. But just first time we got COVID was going to a wedding in Scotland a few months ago, and my brother got it, my sister-in-law got it, my sister got it, my wife, I got it, everybody got it, right?
It's still out there.
It still lurks, but we'll go back a little bit to the dynamic that you've got. And do you think you've kind of mastered the art of knowing what Terry would like when you present artists to him?
Every year I give Terry a list of about 10 or 12 artists, and he whittles it down to the final 4 that are going to perform on that stage. And every year he gets it right. And it's amazing to me. I don't know how he does it, but I always say, like, Terry's one of the smartest men and brains that I have ever met, that is able to pull together consistently, not just on the School of Song stage, but in the Edmonton Folk Music Festival, in the artists that he brings in, and I'll take it back now to the School of Song. It's just been, because there's been some years when I was like, oh, dang, I was hoping he might go with, but it always works out. Like, it's uncanny. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. No, it does. And it maybe brings me to another question, and you feel free to tell me to go and do one. But what is your process? Do you sit at home, listen to the music, put it on, and or what is it for you that you're looking for, do you think? Or?
I'm looking for the best.
Yeah. But
it's a very subjective judgment. I realize that. So, my secret is that I worked with my partner, my life partner, my business partner, Laurie Mizek, and she's a great researcher. So one day she came home, because she does all the hotels and the contracts and all the artist stuff as well. So she came back and she was a bit deflated, because it's a busy job and computerized to a point, but not like her. And I just said, okay. I took out the brochure and I marked it off, and I marked it fairly. I found 17 of these artists. You found 34.
Right. Okay.
So, but you want to have balance.
Sure.
There's male, female, who's played before, who hasn't, Canadian, around the world, musical styles, diversity, styles of music. So, it's really hard to repeat artists now, because I've probably booked 1,000 artists, and okay, maybe half can't come back for various reasons. But not alive, for instance. But, so even if it's 500 and you're booking 25 repeat artists a year, well then, what's that, 1 in 20 years? And, it used to be I could bring people in every 3 or 4 years, and then it was every 6 years. And then I worked for the Calgary Folk Festival, so I can't give you Edmonton, but I can do Calgary. And that was good for 10 years. But now it's kind of catching up to me now. I find I'm finding it harder, because some of these people, I really like. I don't just book who I like. I book what I think is best for the show.
Yeah, you're serving the festival and the people, as opposed to your own personal taste.
Well, I grew up in Dublin, so folk music, and going down to the Universal Folk Club, and seeing all these bands and the Chieftains. And my first concert I ever promoted was Chieftains or Clonid and people like that. So the process is, okay, who do we want to bring back that's been there before? There's people we've chased for years we haven't managed to get. Mark Knopfler, for instance. He doesn't like doing festivals, but he was never touring at the right time either. And, in his band were some people we'd had at the festival, so we had a kind of an in, but it just didn't work. But I think we've had about half of who we really wanted to get as far as headliners are concerned. On the other level, we can, I wouldn't say, I want to be arrogant that we can get whoever we want, but if they're touring and Edmonton offers, and I have to say, we're generous. We're known, we pay better at the lower end of pay scale than anybody else. I'm tight at the top as much as I can be, because that's where the big money is spent, and we want to make it affordable for families. But, well, even this year, someone said, 1,500, and I said, there's 2 people, they have to pay for flights. We pay all the hotel rooms, so we said, no, 4,000. They're a young band, young couple from the States. So, we do that because, we're selling out, so it's fine. We're a not-for-profit. If we break even, we're in business forever.
Round of applause for that one, man. I have to ask, a little birdie tells me, Jerry O'Connor, Van Morrison wanted him. But is it true that he pied Van Morrison to come to the Edmonton Folk Festival? Is that a true story?
That's a true story. Yeah, well, he did the Leaving Cert. There was a question. His kid was doing the Leaving Cert, and one of the questions was, what instrument does Jerry O'Connor play?
No.
Yeah. And it was his dad, right? So he went.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a great banjo player, but he can play fiddle as well. But I guess if you're touring with Van Morrison, you have to know the catalogue, you have to know all the songs.
Right.
And he could do that. And then they wanted him, and he said, I can't do it. They phoned him up. He said, I can't do it. He says, why? He says, I'm playing the festival with 4 men and a dog. which is a band. Yeah. And then they got an English fiddler who was late the next day, so we had to hunt him down. And Van Morrison's band went to he thought it was 10:30 at the hotel lobby, and it was 10 o'clock. And I said to the road manager, go. I said, if we have to drive him to Calgary, we'll drive him. We'll get him to the Jubilee. Don't worry. We got him.
Wow.
So that, Edmonton's really good that way. Donald Lunny arrived and he had a broken tooth. One of his back teeth broke, and he's a legend in Irish music. So, we had someone meet him at the airport and drive him to a dentist.
Where would you get that? Not anywhere else but Edmonton. What? But if we can talk about the future, can we get any world exclusives? Do we know of anybody that we can announce here on CJSR, because it's volunteer, as we say? Any exclusives? You can tell me to go.
Well, I can tell you one secret. You were mentioning Cadbury's chocolate. I have two sisters that worked at Cadbury's because the factory was close to us.
Don't dance around the question. Round of applause for that one.
3,000 people worked there. And my wife Laurie says, don't tell people this, they'll think you're mad. But my brother-in-law, who lives now in Ontario and ran an engineering company, he's the guy who discovered how to get caramel in the caramel bar.
No, he did not.
Yes, he is.
How do you do it?
I didn't know that for 20 years.
Is he related to the guy that got the fig and the fig roll? Is that the same guy?
Well, he could be.
He could be. Okay. What about you, Rhea? In terms of the exciting things, sorry, Rhea's face says it all. Is this serious? It's like, is this
serious? I'm serious. When they had that competition, he wrote to CBC and said, "Well, here's how it happened, and here's how you do it."
How do you do it?
Well,
persistence.
Cadbury's has a Swedish company, at least they did at that time, that if they're looking to have a new production run of a bar, like how do they make flakes? How do they wrap everything? How do they do all that? So what they do is they go to Sweden, and the Swedish try to figure it out. And then the deal is they'll do that for nothing, but then if they get it right, then they get to install it in the Cadbury's plants around the world. That's how it used to work. And it wasn't working because what they were doing with... Well,
how did they get the...
How they do it? Well...
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we're going to get any exclusive tonight of who's going to be playing at the folk festival.
I still want to know. How do they do it?
They used to put it all there, and then they freeze frame it, but the breakage rate was too high. They had the bar in Australia and US and everything, and he was on the tasting committee, and he liked. Well, he didn't smoke, right? So his taste buds were good. So, but anyway, so what happened is they moved it to a continuous process where it flows together, but also whatever they were doing, they were putting the chocolate in first, or they were putting the caramel in first, and then the guy came one morning and he said, "I'm sorry, I hooked it up the wrong way." In a Swedish accent. There you go. He said nothing else is working, so let's leave it that way.
Okay, well, there's a Cadbury's chocolate bar for you.
There
Round of applause for that story. I actually think that deserves a standing ovation, if I'm honest with you. Oh my God. I'll get you. There you go.
No caramel.
No caramel.
Well, I'm going to try for Billy Bragg. I haven't put the...
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He's going to try for Billy Bragg. Okay,
well, he hasn't played a long time. Maybe Waxahachie, people like that. We'll see.
Oh,
we will be making a big announcement. According to an email today, we'll be making a big announcement on around January 22nd, 23rd, we think. So as soon as we can, we'll let that out. I would think it may be the biggest signing we've had since Van Morrison, maybe.
Wow.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna look. If I guess this correctly, Mark Knopfler.
No.
Okay.
Joni Mitchell.
Oh well, we had Joni in '94.
One more guess. Who?
Sorry.
Sylvia Tyson. He said.
No.
But can't blame a man for trying.
Yep.
Wow.
So just one more question. So they don't inject the caramel into the...
Flows together.
Rhea, we've got an exclusive from him. Any exclusives that we can reveal? Any kind of things that we can look forward to that you've got on the pipeline?
Oh, yes. Myself and Stu Weir from the New Moon Folk Club have an incredible show that is going to happen December 6th of 2024. And it's going to feature a lineup of performers who have been at the Edmonton Folk Music Festival with me on the School of Song stage. And we're going to be paying a big tribute to Bill Bourne as part of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing, folks. I think I can say you heard it here first.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what can I say? Big round of applause for Terry Wickham.
Yes.
and for Rhea March.
Ah, thanks. And for Alan Donnelly. And for Alan's partner, Catherine. And for yes,
non-romantic partner, Mike Twitty over here.
for Mike Twitty on sound. And for the Rooster Kitchen for having us. Yeah, we've had Hazel on the floor looking after us tonight. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you, Raheem. Thank you for coming out and being part of this evening.
Yeah, Amanda, thank you. I would like to thank our sponsors, Acoustic Music, obviously CJSR for doing what we do, MLZ Creative and Natural Talent Alliance. Now, please don't leave just yet. I'm going to invite Barry. Barry, come on up here. Barry Westland.
Barry is incredible. He does sound here at the song stage with me every Sunday. I'm so grateful for that. He's a great friend, an awesome songwriter, and a wonderful performer. Barry Westerland. Yes.
How's everybody doing? Did you have a great night? Let's give it up for Alan Donnelly. Hosting this amazing evening. Some great information. Mike on sound. And all the people that are on stage tonight. And also a big thank you to Acoustic Music for this beautiful Eastman guitar. I wrote this after a date that was going really well. Until it wasn't. I cried a tear last night when we parted. We parted ways. We didn't even say goodnight, 'cause there was nothing left to say. And the darkness surrounded me like a blanket of fear. I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night. There was nothing left to say. When I woke this morning with a song left unsung, the words just illuminate all the wrongs I have done. It's hard to escape the truth when it's staring back at you. I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night, 'cause there was nothing left to say. How many times must I apologize for the things that I do? How many times have I broke your heart, broke it right in two? I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night. I cried a tear last night, 'cause there was nothing left to say. Well, there was nothing left to say. Well, there was nothing left to say.